We're going to unbox my Wen 3427 lathe. Here we go. Just delivered this morning by UPS. Ordered it from Home Depot for $402 and change. No tax because I have a tax exempt license as a business, and free delivery. So the box is in reasonably good shape. Let's see what we got. Of course, we got the manual. We got the spanner wrench, Allen key, and the rod for removing bits and parts out of the spindle. Other parts. This is the extension that goes on the back of the lathe, or actually the headstock, so we mount the banjo in there. The shipping box weighs about 82 pounds, and it's mostly assembled. I've already read the manual online. And all you really have to do is put in the spindle lock. So, let's see if I can lift this thing. It's not that heavy. Get it out of the packing material. Okay, I'm going to go put it on my lathe stand, which I built in my last video, and then we'll take a look at the individual pieces. Okay, here we go. Here's the lathe that's on my tool stand, my lathe stand, which I built in my last video. And let's unwrap it, see what we got. I guess it goes this way. Okay, lathe, power cord. This is my drop. You can't see it. This will be my power. So I've got a couple lights, magnetic lights that go on this. They'll plug into here, and the lathe will plug into here. This is a 14 gauge extension cord. It's only about 6 feet long. It goes to an outlet that I put in the ceiling. So there's an actual outlet up there, so I don't have a long extension cord. And this way I don't have a cord running on the floor to trip on. Okay, so this is the tool rest that mounts on the back side of the lathe like this, so you can mount the banjo in here. I'm not sure I'll use that for the kind of work that I do. This is the actual tool rest. I think it's 5/8 in diameter. Nice tight fit. Seems to grab pretty well. In this bag, this is the spindle lock. It's going to mount in here. This is the handle and the bolt for the tailstock wheel. There's the live center. And there's our spur center. Morse 2. No, Morse, not Morse. I've seen guys say that on their videos, and that's incorrect. It's not M-O-R-I-S. It's Morse. Okay, Morse 2 taper. This is the rod. I forget what it's called, the ramrod or something rod. Goes in the headstock and knocks out your spur center, whatever else you have mounted in there. This is the faceplate, and this wrench is for removing the faceplate once you have the spindle lock installed. And the Allen wrench for something, I forget what for. Okay, let's install the spindle lock. Okay, let's install the spindle lock. I went and got a wrench. I tried metric, but it turns out it's 5/8. Everything else is metric here. Kind of weird, unless it's a in-between metric size that I don't have. So that screws in. This is spring-loaded. It says screw it in, tighten it with a wrench. That's probably all you need. That's in the open position. And then when you turn it, push it down, it locks it, but it also turns a little bit, so it locks the lock. I don't know why. Okay. Now we're going to install the handle for the tailstock wheel. And that's this, and it assembles with the screw that they provide, of course. And that screws into here. And all you need is a flat screwdriver. Tighten the screw. And we're good to go. Okay. Okay, so we're basically assembled. That's it. Everything else is done from the factory. What I'm going to do is I am going to remove the faceplate, because I don't hardly ever use a faceplate. Because it's a reversing lathe, it has Allen wrenches or Allen screws to lock in the faceplate, and you must remove those before, of course, you unscrew that, lest you mess up your threads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock the spindle, find the flats. There we go, one faceplate. So the next thing, what remains, is to really just turn it on and see if it works. Let's plug it in. Unlock the spindle, of course. That's probably one of the most dangerous aspects of having a spindle lock like that, as opposed to the old jet, which actually had a separate pin that pushed in over here. And so you'd see it, and you'd know that you shouldn't turn it on. What would be cool is if this had a light that warned you. I was thinking about designing something like that. So when this was in the down position, it hit a little switch and turned on a little light that warned me right next to the power switch. But that's a thought for another time. Okay, power switch is off. Plug it in. It's free to spin. Speed's on low. It works. That's a good sign. That's at 513 RPM, the slowest speed. Sounds like an airplane taking off. $25.07. top RPM. And let's see if reverse works. It's interesting that there's a little delay when you turn it on. I'm tempted to see what happens when you hit the reverse when it's on. But I'll wait till I've had it a little while before I try that. It's probably not a good idea. Okay. Let's mount something on and see if we can cut it. Okay, so before I go any further, I really want to test to see if the spur center is lined up true with the live center. And it turns out that it isn't. On this plane, if you look from your point of view, it's fine. But if I look from top down and put this up against or pretty close to the spur center, it's over a fraction of an inch toward you. So it's not really lined up properly. This is going to be a problem. If I take a piece of veneer and stick it under this side, that solves the problem. So it must be that this is machined or not machined as accurate as we need. So I'm going to have to contact the company and see what they want me to do. One of the reasons I bought it at Home Depot is because I can take it back within 90 days. So if I don't get satisfaction from the company, back it goes. I can always buy another jet. Anyway, I'm going to use that piece of veneer as a shim and try to turn a pen blank. Another feature I wanted to show you is this little tool rest here. You got a place for your rod, your spur center, and the Allen key. That's kind of cool. Okay, I've got my safety glasses on. I've got my tool set, my tool rest adjusted. I'm using carbide tools, so I'm right in the middle of the spindle height. And let's see what happens. Going to bring the speed up to about 1,000. That's about 1,100. Just tighten up the tailstock a little bit. I've got my magnetic lights here. This is an ebony layered blank. You should take a look at it. I don't know how close you can see it now, but it's layers of ebony and lacewood veneer. This is on my second video talking about that micro table saw that I have. That's where I cut this ebony on. So I can cut it very thin and it's very safe that way. Well, as a lathe it's working. The blanks are not even close to even being square, let alone round. They're very rectangular, so it's easy to catch an edge on there as I'm trying to cut it. So you have to approach it slow. Okay, you want to zoom in on that. Let's see if you can get a close-up just to show you what the ebony and lacewood veneer looks like when it is cut round. And it's pretty cool. It's going to be a nice, nice pen blank. Okay, so that's pretty much the unboxing of the lathe. Not a big deal. I'm going to read you some specs. So the model, well, it's a WEN, W-E-N, 3427. The motor is rated at 4.5 amps, 120 volts. The swing over the bed is 12 inches. The distance between centers is almost 16 inches. Speeds are rated 500 to 2500. Spindle taper, like I said, is MT2. The tool rest length, this is 7 7/8 long. The dimensions of the entire lathe are 32 by 9 by 17. And finally, it weighs 72.1 pounds unboxed. So that's pretty much it. Well, this is an update. It's about a month since I first received the lathe. And I did contact support, and it took them about a week to get back to me after I sent them pictures of the problem with the spur center and live center. And so I took the lathe back to Home Depot. And within a week I got a new one. Second one, the headstock was perfect. The index ring, which you can't see behind the chuck, the index ring is lined up perfectly in the headstock, but the tailstock was really screwed up. It wasn't cast well. By the way, there's a complete review with all the details and list of features and what I like and don't like on the Home Depot site, including an update. So instead of making this a longer video with a complete review with all the details, just check the Home Depot site and you get it all in writing. Anyway, the tailstock was messed up, so I contacted support. They promised to send me out a new one, so within about a week it took. I did get the new tailstock, and it was perfect. The other one, by the way, had a crack where the handle enters the tailstock, as well as had a protrusion on the bottom, so it wouldn't sit flat on the ways. Got the new one, installed a few pieces that didn't come with the new one that I had to take out of the old one, and it's great. So now I have a completely functional Wen 3427 lathe, and I'm very happy with it. It works fine. This is the final setup. You see, I made a little block to hold the tailstock when it's off the ways, off the bed, because being a short bed, sometimes you want to get in from the end when you're doing a bowl. So tailstock's always in the ways. So there's a pin that goes in here that holds the tailstock from coming out. I removed that. I don't even use it anymore, and made a holder for the tailstock. It just has a hole and a groove cut in it, so tailstock stands up nicely in it. Also raised up the lathe a little bit on some 2x8s. I've got magnetic lights attached, and I'm happy. Works well. So I hope you enjoyed this review and this unboxing. Please leave a comment if you have any questions. If you liked the video, give me a like. And if you're so inclined, please subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it. Thanks for watching.